New at 10, with Minnesota's new law on recreational marijuana, which was signed earlier this week, committees are preparing to take on thousands of cannabis-related offenses to determine eligibility for expunging low-level marijuana convictions and to decide which records will be sealed and which will stay open. KIMT News 3's Sananda McCall tells us what remains unclear with the process.
The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is preparing to review cannabis offenses that will now be considered legal on August 1st.
What the BCA is supposed to do is identify those cases, and then somehow they get sent to the courts and they will be expunged without the person actually having to file a petition.
And this is huge because traditionally record clearance and expungement has been the job of the person with the record to go to the court, jump through a ton of hoops.
Meanwhile, those with a felony charge are being reviewed by the Cannabis Expungement Board. Olmsted County Attorney Mark Ostrom says for these people, it may take a little more time to get the ball rolling.
A couple problems with that. First of all, the board hasn't been created yet, so the people haven't been appointed. And we're talking about potentially thousands of records statewide that they would need to look at. So logistically, this seems like a pretty big lift.
Gracie Johnson is the policy director of Last Prisoner Project, and she says although reviewing documents could take up to a year, the state's consideration of resentencing should be the model for how the nation responds to legalization.
Resentencing has lagged behind, so most states have not yet created that resentencing pathway.
Those impacted may also have to consider the process will affect employment and housing. Ostrom says that's the million-dollar question.
Do they have to wait until the BCA or this expungement board does their work, or could they go through the normal process and file a petition and try and kind of jumpstart that?
He says it's also unclear as to what the Cannabis Advisory Council's role will be in measuring impairment when it comes to driving and deciding which civil penalties may kick in versus criminal. In Rochester, Sananda McCall, KIMT News 3.
And it will still take nearly a year for recreational cannabis to be legal for sale in Minnesota as businesses work to become licensed.